of the things about my book, Seeking Decay, that occurred to me well after I wrote it and Milkweed published it, was a concept I now call deep travel. And what that is, most of us when we travel, because I did to China in 2006, writing this book, but most of us when we travel for curiosity, for business, for adventure, for education. But maybe once or twice in our life, we feel a call. It doesn't come from our head, and it doesn't come from that adventurous side of our body or that curiosity. But rather, it comes from deep inside us, and it's kind of a call that we feel we have to answer. And that's what happened to me with Seeking Decay. I fell in love 30, now 40 years ago with the voice of a poet who lived in a mountain, in a cave in the Tiantai Mountains in China, 1,200 years ago. What's that about? How did that happen? And yet this voice stayed with me ever since I came upon his book, Cold Mountain Poems, as translated by Burton Watson. And I began to wonder. And in my 50s, I had the time, after leaving my job with the Star Tribune in my late 50s, to try to sort this out and track down what was this attraction all about. The result, Seeking the Cave, I went to China in 2006. We found the cave. We found some extraordinary secrets there. But what I didn't expect in the process of that travel, that outer travel, that travel across time and space, was that I also traveled back inside. I traveled into myself and learned some secrets about myself that I didn't know, secrets that, in a way, I had kept from myself. And this book allowed me to discover, which is why, at the end of the day, I was very surprised, yet it made complete sense when the first PR materials came out and Milkweed put it in the category Memoir. And I went, it's not a travel. It is indeed a memoir, because it's about that internal story that drove the external story. So that's the story behind the book, Seeking Decay. So we traveled across China. We drove 11 days and never saw the sun, from Beijing all the way to Xi'an, seeking these shrines of the ancient poets, the ancient thinkers of China. Then we took the train back, and it had been kind of a revelation, many revelations along the way, as we pursued this trail. And here's a little bit of a piece that I've been reading lately at my events. It was a moment of insight for me. We were on the train, overnight sleeper, from Xi'an all the way back to Nanjing. As the train rumbled smoothly through the night like a wise old donkey that knows the way, I took out Bill Porter's book of Cold Mountain translations and read them over one more time. Despite a soundless television set flickering annoyingly over my head with no apparent off switch. At 11 p.m., the television suddenly went dark. I too went dark. I dreamed that a finger emerged from a Chinese embroidered robe and pointed harshly at a line of text. Kid, give it its true name, fire. Man, can he be a fraud, James? He had tears in his eyes. Jolted awake, I scribbled those lines in my journal and fell back to sleep, the donkey rocking steadily below me, the words fire and tears ringing in my ears. Awake in pre-dawn light, I puzzled over the message in my notebook. For much of my life, I knew in my hands, if not in my head, that the interior life was my real work, and that reaching into it required the same heat of passion and discipline as did the practices of teaching, business, and journalism by more remunerative trades. Poets forge the marriage of right sound and right sense in the furnace of desire. Only then can they strike the bell that reverberates around the world and over the drifts of time.